Hi everyone, it's Rachel and I'm here with another process video. I am once again at my Texas crop back at the beginning of October, so we're stretching out a little bit farther now, aren't we? First thing I did was I fussy cut all these letters. I am using the C'est La Vie collection from Pink Paislee, which is so soft and pretty and girly, so of course I have to do a picture of my dog, because only girly thing in our house besides the cat. Okay, so I did not record myself fussy cutting out all those flowers because I am the world's worst fussy cutter. You do not need to watch the pain of that. I am, however, edging my floral cutouts with Hickory Smoke Distress Ink. First of all, because I think it needs a little definition from the pink shades of that wood grain piece I'm using to differentiate itself, and second of all, to kind of cover up the mistakes I make when I'm fussy cutting. I find that by inking the edges, it helps a lot. Now, normally when I ink edges, I just run my ink pads along the edge. I wanted a softer look for this particular one because the colors in C'est La Vie are so soft and dreamy. I wanted a softer look for my ink. Now, I've got these two pictures of my dog, Sadie. One is a 4x6 and one is a 3x4, and they are pictures of her after she was freshly groomed. Now, once I get those all fussy cut, I take this 12x12 piece that has all the words and pictures and icons and stuff, and I'm cutting that out, and I'm pulling out a couple pieces I think might work, like the one that says hello and the one that says feeling fancy or being fancy, something like that. And, of course, I pull out a doily, because if ever a line ever screamed for a doily, it is the C'est La Vie line. Now, unlike most of the layouts I made at this crop, this particular one did not have a sketch pre-done. That is because I did not have C'est La Vie before I came to the crop. My friend Deb was destashing, and she had offered some lines available to people to purchase for a much lower price, because she just wanted to rid herself of it. So I purchased a few papers of the C'est La Vie line, and I was just inspired to use it with these pictures because this line is so pretty and my dog is so pretty. So I took one of those cut apart pieces and trimmed out the heart because I just thought it looked really cute there between the two photos. And now I've pretty much got my design where it's going to be. And I'm thinking I want to add a little bit of mixed media. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do, what color I want to use. I'm trying first I'm going to ink the edge of that heart with some more Hickory Smoke ink. And then you can see on the right hand side, there is a stencil. And I'm thinking about using my Distress ink, and I think Abandoned Coral. And I'm going to test some of the reds I have. Actually, I believe these are Deb's reds, because I did not bring a huge amount of ink with me. And I'm just testing them out and trying to figure out which color will work the best. And I will tell you this, it does not work out. Because I'm dumb. I'll be totally honest. But before we get to how dumb I am, I went to use a triple banner punch to trim out both of those banners, and I accidentally trimmed off a piece of the letter H in the word hello. So I just took a little bit of that black paper piece of cut apart and put it right behind, and it kind of totally hides. Unless you're looking really, really close, you really can't tell that the H has been trimmed into. I mean, you'd have to be really looking at my layout in order to do that. So I just take that little black piece that I cut off and glued it to the back, and it looks totally fine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get my main photo block together, because as I said, I'm thinking about using some mixed media, and a lot of times when I do background mixed media, where I'm not going to do the entire page, I like to get my main photo block so I can give an idea of what's going to be covered up, because I spent too much of my time when I first started doing either the packaging technique or using a stencil where I would do, and see, here's where I do this. I decide I don't have a blending tool, so I'm like, oh, I'll just rub it on. Ooh, ew, no, ick, yuck, bleh. So instead I'm like, I'm going to clean up my stencil and I'm going to think about what I want to do. And I decide I'm just going to do the packaging technique. It's mainly going to be hidden by my picture, so I'm okay with it. As I was saying, I spent so much when I first started using mixed media, putting down mixed media and then ending up completely covering it up. And you know what? Sometimes that happens, but sometimes I really like the mixed media and I'm sad when it's covered up. So I'm just doing a little bit here, basically to cover up the fact that I made a large mistake, which is mostly covered by the photo, but I was concerned that it wouldn't all be covered by the photo, and you'd see this weird pink blob just hanging out in the background, and I didn't want that to happen, so I just added a light bit of packaging technique to kind of cover that up. Now this dried pretty quick, so I'm going to be able to go ahead and put down my main photo block. Yay. And because I was not careful with the gluing, the doily is kind of sticking up a little bit wonky. So I'm just going to take some glue and glue it down for a little bit. I don't usually have to do that, but because I slightly tore it, I am going to end up doing that after I glue down my floral corner pieces. Those turned out so pretty. And then I realized once I put those two down, I've got the picture just too far to the right to make it look good. And here's where I add the extra glue, because of all the pulling up and pushing down and gluing and my bad gluing job here. And I made another mistake. While I was doing all of that packaging technique, I managed to get a bit of ink right at the bottom of my little banner piece I made from the cut apart. Now it was just enough that had I left it at the width it was, the fishtail banner would have been too deep for my liking. So what I ended up doing was trimming off either side of the banner in order to retrim the fishtail so it wasn't too deep a fishtail, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my title. So my full title is Hello Pretty Lady, because as I mentioned, she was freshly groomed, and I have probably done another layout about her and how pretty she looks when she's freshly groomed, but you know what? Sometimes that's okay. I really love that big photo of her. My dog, A, is terrified of cameras, I don't know why, and B, tends not to photograph well. So when I do get a good photograph of her, I feel obsessed with actually taking it and making a layout about it. Alright, I have this little plastic box, and this is just odds and ends of wood veneer and flare and chipboard pieces and stuff that I just added with the idea that if I need to add to some of the kits I put together. I pull out a couple of wood veneer hearts, I pull out this black and white with a heart flare. That flare is from Felicity Jane. I adore the size of their flare. They're slightly smaller than like normal 1-inch flare, so they're very cute. And then I also have the heart wood veneer is from Studio Calico, and then that little paw print flare wood veneer, hello, words, is from Jilly Bean Soup. Now, once I found my pen, it is time for journaling, and so we're going to do, when I draw lines on my layout, what I usually do is I draw a couple of lines, I start my journaling, and then I go back and I add a line or two depending on how much journaling I have left. Because apparently, I have a fear of empty lines. We are almost complete. I've got one more thing to do, and that is, of course, add some gold color shine. I'm going to take that away and bring it back, and that is going to complete my layout. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Bye!